Hello, everybody. I'm Dane Fredrickson, and I am joined by Charlie Hunt from her company is called the Lime One or Lime 2.0, which is basically a LinkedIn relationship management tool that I have been using and getting to know, and it's still kind of being evolved as we have experienced recently. And the I wanted to just kind of talk today to Charlie about her content marketing expertise. I've learned a lot from her about how to do content marketing on LinkedIn and how to manage relationships using her tools. So, Charlie, do you want to just kind of give us, the short version, your background, and kind of how you describe yourself?
Yeah, so my background, I come from a copywriting background actually. I have been trying to make sales on LinkedIn since 2019, and I think we all kind of used it a lot more in the during the pandemic from 2020. And yeah, my business partner is technical, so he started kind of had a problem that we wanted to solve with LinkedIn, and yeah, we built Lime based on that, really. So it is a CRM that helps you kind of manage your relationships and take back your time on LinkedIn. So you're actually spending your time building relationships with the people you want to build relationships with rather than whoever LinkedIn is serving you up with. And then we've got content tools and analytics tools in there as well.
Yeah. And again, I've been using Lime for a little while now, and you've been teaching me your insights about how to use LinkedIn best and how to manage those relationships. And one of the things I liked from the beginning is instead of like the hacks that so many people try and do and the shortcuts, you're really focused on like building natural human good relationships and not really shortcutting so much as like yes, we're tracking it and we've got some tools there, but like we're building them the right way. And I think the thing that I really like is it's not just about commenting on their posts, it's also about putting your own content out there. And we've talked about the different kinds of content you can do for different purposes, engagement and sales. We also have talked about video. And so, that's my expertise as a video expert that I thought we could kind of spin the conversation a little bit in that direction. Video's changed so much recently and continues to change. AI is here. There's a lot of do's and don'ts around that. And I just kind of wanted to talk about like on LinkedIn, what do you think people should be doing with video? What's the goal there? What's the methodology in your mind?
I think the first thing is just do video. So I started doing video about 3 years ago on LinkedIn, and I haven't done it recently, and it's one of my goals for 2026. So this is a great conversation for me to be telling myself as
Yeah.
well. But I think yeah, the main thing for me was that video felt scary. But the first after you've done that first one, it just doesn't matter. And I can't tell you how much it's improved my public speaking, my ability to just talk to random people, but also everybody who's seen my videos thinks that we are friends after they've kind of seen a decent amount of videos. So it's just a really good way of short circuiting that connection and that networking that you can do on LinkedIn so well.
Yeah, and as I've spent so much time thinking and talking and writing about this stuff, like the places that I've kind of landed is it really does address three of the biggest problems that marketers are facing right now. We've got AI slop, AI search. How do you stand out and be visible and be trusted in that kind of an environment? And for me, video is like the ultimate hack because it does all three of those all at once. And can be done quite efficiently and low cost. I mean, that's what we're doing right now. These are just webcam videos, and this is all post pandemic, perfectly acceptable modern business practice, right? Pre pandemic, this would have been like too, I don't know, too raw, too scrappy, whatever. But like that whole social media pandemic thing kind of opened up this whole other lane now that B2B marketers are just getting used to that, like, hey, it doesn't have to all be polished. Like, amazing hero videos on the website. You can do this stuff too. And in fact, this raw stuff can really work for you to build that authenticity and trust in ways that the other stuff kind of works against you. It's like, we're so polished, we're fake. And like the younger generations, millennials, Gen Z, they value that sort of stuff. And I think you've already pointed out how people, they feel like they know you, right? When they see this stuff. And so I'm obviously a big advocate for it, and you're on board with that too. I'm kind of curious if you have any metrics or any other way than just anecdotally feeling like it's working for you, shortening that sales cycle? Is there anything you think you could point to about performance that you've experienced?
Yeah, so when I first started doing video, I just thought of it as another medium, really. And I thought, okay, I need to create some new sales messages for this. But I think with AI, there's so much content on the internet now. So it's not really about producing more content. I think it's about producing content in a way that works for lots of different people. So when I started doing video, I just thought I would have the same people comment on my stuff. Um, and they would just kind of interact with me in a new way and get to know me in a different way. What I actually found is that it almost doubled my audience. So I think I had an increase of about 40% audience. And I noticed that different people were commenting on the video. I'm so sorry, my dog has just started playing with
No, I figured that's what's going on, and you must be on to. You're saying some good stuff. Your dog's getting excited.
Hello, hey, Daddy. Hello, boy. Not
So
right now.
we're witnessing the authenticity in action right now. And I challenge anyone watching this to not feel like they know you a little bit better now. Like that was unscripted, raw stuff. And like now I kind of know how you are more, right? Like that was not a presented image you just put out there. That was you like, hey, be quiet. Like that your personality comes through in those sort of things and it humanizes you. So anyway, that's what I see anyway. Um,
Yeah,
so so the
sorry.
performance you were saying basically doubled your viewership. So I would think that's pretty powerful. Is that something that you mentioned for 2026 you want to be doing more with that? How are you looking as far as like what would that plan look like? And it's okay if you haven't quite figured that out yet, but I'd imagine you have some sense of cadence or content types. What are you thinking at the moment for you?
So I'm naturally a writer, so I really love writing and I really love seeing how my posts resonate with people. When you do a video, you also tend to like write a post as well. But I find it's actually better to just repurpose. So what's been working really well for my kind of normal text-based post, and then I'll just turn that into a video. Obviously, you want to edit the script a lot and make it kind of more natural. But I think, yeah, it will be just repurposing some of the old material so that it reaches a totally new audience and hopefully helps a new bunch of people.
Yeah. And so as we look into 2026, that's sort of your plan or part of your plans. What do you think like the current state of LinkedIn is as far as like best practices, content as well as like the nurturing the relationship? What do people need to know from a LinkedIn uh, relationship management expert? What is the takeaway for how they're going to do that in 2026?
So the biggest thing we're seeing at the moment is that reach is down. But I think don't be worried if your reach is down because it's down for absolutely everyone. So there's two kind of algorithm changes that have happened recently. The first one is that if your profile doesn't match what you're talking about, LinkedIn is less likely to give you more impressions and show it to the right people. And although it means that your content gets less impressions, it's actually a good thing because it means that it's getting in front of people who are directly interested in what you're talking about. It also means that LinkedIn is prioritizing specialist content and it wants you to be an expert, which I think is a really, really good thing. And then I said there were two things, didn't I? But I've lost.
Well, you
But
said reaches down was the first
yeah,
one.
yeah,
And then the counterpoint to that is yes, but it's more specialized.
yeah. And then I guess the other thing is that your your kind of your posts will do really, really well or not as well as you're used to. So I found that I have a lot more viral posts, and when they go viral, they go really, really viral now. But my general posts do a lot worse. And so I guess LinkedIn is trying to take people outside of their audience a bit more, which I quite like. I think we're used to that on TikTok and Instagram now. I think it's something like you only see only something like 11% of the posts you see on Instagram and Facebook are from people that you actually know and follow. The rest are just the algorithm telling you what you might like. So I think LinkedIn is going down that path a little bit. And that's where we hope to have kind of pulled it back with Lime because you can set this strategy of who sees your content. So if there are particular people you want to see your content, send them a DM. Even if they don't reply, they're much more likely to see your content in their feed. And then just build relationships by commenting, and they'll see, and make sure that headline, that's your real estate, right? That's what people see everywhere on the web, on LinkedIn. So
Right.
just make sure that headline is going to attract those customers that you want and make them want to click on your profile, even if it takes them having to see it 10 times, because that's just a reality of digital marketing.
Yeah. And so this is, a little bit about your platform, but just in general, do you have a sense of like what should be the expectation from if I go from not using something like Lime or really managing my relationships in a planned, strategic way, if I'm just kind of doing that organically, like I think a lot of people probably do on LinkedIn, they're kind of using it like Instagram or Facebook in some ways. But like if I start going into a more deliberate approach and using a tool like yours, what should the expectation be for like where that takes me? What are the expected results, timeline, things like that?
So it's about, I think it's about between 10 and 20 touch points now that you need for a B2B sale. So let's say LinkedIn's algorithm takes away your perfect customer after you've commented on their post 5 times, or they've commented on your post 5 times. Then you've kind of just lost that work that you put into those 5 times, and those people will then just be lost to the algorithm. And Chris, my business partner, and I tried to put this into some data before and probably measure it, and we reckon that it's about every 6 months they take away about 40% of your audience and replace it with someone new. So you're not getting less impressions or less engagement, but it's just not the same people that you had a
Yeah.
relationship with before. So you don't want to lose those relationships that you
Yeah.
built. So that's just to say like why you need to have, even if you're using a spreadsheet, you don't have to use Fiverr. And then in terms of what to expect from results, it's really hard because it really, really depends on what you're selling. I'm
Yeah.
selling a widget. I'm selling something that's costs like £23 a month. I can't
Yeah.
remember how many dollars, $30 a month ish. My results happen really quite quickly. If you're selling a product that's 5 grand, 10 grand, 50 grand, it's going to take you a little bit longer. So you probably want to measure things that aren't just sales. You want to measure how many conversations am I having with the right people. And I find putting numbers next to feelings is quite a good way to keep yourself motivated and make sure you're going in the right direction as well. So maybe you can have a column for how pertinent is this person to what I am trying to achieve, like how much like a dream customer are they,
Yeah.
and then how well do I think the conversations are going. And it will just be a feeling. But if you
Yeah.
do from 1 to 10, you'll hopefully start to get a good idea of, okay, this is working, this is not working,
Right.
this type of message works, this type of message works.
Okay. And if they're liking what they're hearing and they want to give Lime a try, what's the best way to, go down that path?
Yeah, so if you go to thelime.one, you can sign up for a trial there, and I'll sneakily give you a discount code, which I haven't approved with my co-founder. So if you use the code DEMO, DEMO, on the card details page, you'll get an extra month to try it for free. So 6 weeks free
Okay.
trial.
Excellent. All right. Well, Charlie, thank you for sharing your insights today and your content marketing and relationship management wisdom. It served me well already, and I'm looking forward to where it takes me. So thanks again for making time.